Alrighty, and we are live. Hi, how you going? Welcome to another Business Reinvented live broadcast. Steve Plummer here, and I'm joined by my good mate and business partner in Business Reinvented, Cam Roberts. Hi, Cam.
Hey, Steve. Hi, folks. How are we all going today?
Yeah, Cam, thanks for joining us. All right, so look, as part of our mission in Business Reinvented, we want to elevate 5,000 businesses over the next 12 months. So it's a big mission, a big goal. And today what we thought we'd do is take a little bit of a different tack in that we want to give you no cost and low cost ways to grow that business. And we're talking about growing your list, but also growing profits and revenue and so forth, so that you do impact more people. And the vehicle that we're talking about today is joint ventures and partnerships. Now, there is an art and a science to this. It's not just about making a phone call and profiting. There is an art and a science. And Cam, you're going to share with us some of the secrets you've learned over the last 10, 15, or even more years, about how to do this the right way. Because there is like I said, it's an art. There is a right way, a wrong way. There are traps and pitfalls, and it will help the folks to elevate themselves and impact more people if they know those and apply them. So, Cam, look, let's just start right at the top there. What is it that makes a good joint venture?
Yeah, so a good joint venture is really built on relationships. It's built on a relationship that you have with someone else that shares your common customers, that shares your ideal buyer personas, or shares your clients. And so the two parties would come together for the common good of the customer. And that's got to be first and foremost. You don't get into a joint venture arrangement, promotion, marketing campaign with the idea of just making money, because you might make some money, but it's not really going to impact the community, and therefore won't really impact your bottom line. So the first thing you want to do is approach it as what I call a win-win-win, or a triple win. It's got to be a win for the clients and the customers. So your market, your community, your ideal buyers, how can you create something for them with someone else, another party, another small business, another consultant, another coach? How can you create something with them, and so that you can present back to your community or to your ideal buyers that's going to help them unsolve a problem, or overcome an obstacle, or get a better result in whatever it is that they're doing. And so it's, like I said, it's really built on relationships first and foremost. And then once you establish that relationship, it's about creating a plan that solves a problem for that particular market.
Yeah, I guess it can't just be the transaction that you're looking for, right? It's got to be a deeper thing than that. And I think that probably leads me, Cam, to the next question here. Like, we often make up BS in our own minds. Oh, I'm only this, or we do that, and no one else. So where do people look for JV partners and partnerships to grow that impact? That is beyond the transaction, and getting over that I'm just a, or I'm only a, we put a block in our minds sometimes about doing things like that for various reasons. So where can we look for those?
Yeah, so look for them, A, in your previous relationships, and also B, in existing relationships. So there'll be people in your own business network. It could be online or offline, those networks, that could happen. There could be people who are visiting your own business. It could be people who are already customers of your business who would make a great JV partner. And I know that happened for me. So for those that have listened to my story, or have heard me online, or listened to a podcast, know that I used to own typical bricks and mortar businesses, being in the swim school industry and the gym industry. And what I did with the swim school was, we had our own clients who were swim school clients. They would bring their kids to lessons, but also owned other businesses. And I would approach them if they had a commonality. And so one particular business owner owned a kids' clothing store. So at one time I approached that business owner who was coming for swimming lessons and said, hey, what would you think, Fiona, if we did something together where, we offered some sort of package for swimming lessons and some sort of discount for kids' clothing, and package that up in such a way so it was a win-win for the mums and dads that are buying for their kids clothes or swimming lessons, and also a win for the swim school and the clothes shop. So we set up a couple of different campaigns over the years and did quite well together. One of the things that worked really well was we let her run an expo out front of our swim school on a Saturday morning. And Saturday mornings used to be our busiest mornings. We used to get about 400, 500 kids come through for swimming lessons just on a Saturday. And she would set up an expo and have all of her old stock or discounted stock or stock she wanted to get rid of and put it on sale. And it was great because she promoted it through her clothing store, so got new people to come and see the swim school because it was just outside the swim school. So they come to buy some cheap clothes and great kids' clothing, and they go, hey, there's a swim school here. Let's walk in and take a look and check it out. So we picked up more customers. And then obviously the amount of traffic that was leaving and coming and going in the swim school on a Saturday morning were buying up her clothes as well. So it was a great win for everyone. You know, everyone won. The clients won, the customers won. They got swimming lessons, they got good clothing, and the businesses won because it was just a great feel and it was a good, feedback from the community about what we did. So we did that many times over the years, and that was just one example. Another example was we teamed up with early tuition centres who also offered tuition, but we offered aquatic tuition. They offered, your typical school tuition, before and after school tuition, and private lessons. And so, again, we did some sort of bundle and cross promotions together. We would advertise in their monthly newsletter and they would advertise back in our monthly newsletter, and there'll be special discounts if you were from Aquastars or from that particular business, when you mention the business. And so you can orchestrate these things really well to benefit not only the people that are buying, but also, as I said, it's a triple win. It's a win for the business and it's a win for the joint venture partnership that you're having as well. Now, one little story I want to tell about where to find these people. Having owned that swim school for the best part of a decade, there was a pool shop about 400 metres away. In fact, my customers and my students and their parents had to drive past this pool shop every day to come to our swim school, right? Every time they come to the swim school, they literally drove past the shop. And you can bet your bottom dollar that there's a lot of people who own pools that would get their kids taught to swim, right? And so one time I went up to this pool shop and I said, hey, listen, look, you know where we are because we used to buy some stuff through them from time to time. And I said, look, we're just down the back there. How would you feel if we did a joint venture promotion together and we promoted your pool shop business into our swim school clients? And, in return, you put some flyers on the front counter there. And every time someone came in and had their little pool test, you just hand them a little Aquastars card to get a little discount at the swim lesson, right? It would have been a gold nugget for this swim pool shop. What do you reckon they said about that? Do you reckon they took that on or not?
Well, by the way you're talking, I'm thinking they've gone no, right?
No, I couldn't believe it. I framed it up. It was going to be gold. Yeah. Here they had 1,200 potential clients to tap into every single week, but they just said, no, we don't do that sort of stuff. So fair enough. So, so you really got to, why I tell that story is because you've got to ask people. So, I asked a few people and it worked. I asked some other people and they said no, and that's okay. It just wasn't for that particular business, but it worked for other people as well. So, you've got to try different people.
Yeah, I think an interesting thing for me there, Cam, is the look side into customers and which ones, are suitable. There could be a school of thought that says, well, I don't really want to do that. They're my customer. I don't really, that doesn't position me well, et cetera, et cetera. But, from that story there, it, look up, look down, look sideways, see where, like you said, they've got their customers before you and after you and where that can benefit. I really like that idea too of the buzz that would have created around the swim school with that that JV with the clothing manufacturer. So that was really great. All right, Cam, just really quick, put you on the spot a little bit here. Some other examples that you see around just to broaden the scope of that discussion just a little bit, maybe 3 or 4 examples, maybe small biz, corporate world, something like that.
Yeah, so sure. We see it in the corporate world all the time. The likes of McDonald's have McDonald's Monopoly. You can go in and play Monopoly McDonald's, and obviously Monopoly is owned by Mattel, totally different company, but they do things together. And, there's going to be a win for Monopoly because people will play the Monopoly game and then go, hey, I should get the Monopoly app, play Monopoly on my phone, or go and get the Monopoly board, right? And obviously a win for McDonald's because it gets people in, thinking they're going to win a prize. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but that's part of the Monopoly game. We see it online in internet marketing. We see people doing, joint promotions together. They might hold a joint webinar together. That's a great way to do it. I've done joint webinars with other people in the past before. You see it offline in events. You'll see people who run live events, and they'll get a couple of different speakers in. Speakers will come and go on the stage, and there'll be a 50-50 split usually at the back of the table, back of the room type thing. So someone gets on the stage and they, sell a particular package to 20 people. Usually it's the event coordinator and the speaker will split that profit together, and and they'll share that with each other as well. So, there's many different ways that you can do this, and it's really only limited to your creativity about how you can impact people and how you can help them solve their problems.
Yeah, cool. All righty, keeping to our promised 10 to 12, 15 minutes timing for these live broadcasts. One last thing, dangers, traps, pitfalls to avoid, because that's really important. Based on your experience, there would have been some things that you've picked up that people don't need to waste time and energy relearning. So what do you see there?
So the biggest pitfalls to avoid, Steve, would be going into a joint venture with someone where you're going to do all the work, yet the split of the profit is 50-50, right? But that's just not a good feeling for you if you're doing all the work. So if you're doing
it's an energy mismatch, isn't it? It's an energy mismatch, and that just doesn't work.
Yeah, and it just goes south really quickly, right? So always look for someone that's got as much energy into it as you, much buy-in as you. You're going to do some work, they're going to do some work. And like you said, Steve, it has a good energy feel. Also, only go into joint venture partnerships with people that you feel like you can trust, right? So you never really know until you get to know someone. But, on that initial conversation, if something doesn't feel right to you right now, it's probably not going to feel right 2 or 3 months down the track, right? So make sure you feel like you can trust this person with your business, because that's what you are doing. Make sure that they're also a reputable brand, so if you're very got a certain level of branding that you like to portray in the marketplace, make sure they're the same. So make sure they're not going to do anything that's going to tarnish your brand. And the last thing, Steve, would be make sure that you're going into this in a fair way and not on some sort of broken promise, right, or some sort of big promise. You and I both have been approached by people that say, hey, look, if you help me do this and I don't pay you, well, then, we'll give you this amount of money, right? In my experience, that never happens. So I just shy away from those deals. To me, they're not joint venture deals. That's prostitution for free. And, I would highly advise any service provider or coach or consultant to run right away from those sorts of deals. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about going into a partnership with someone, not a legal partnership. It could be just a marketing partnership for a particular event, and, doing something together where you're both doing the equal amount of heavy lifting to get a result for your businesses and a result for the clients and customers.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I think it's fair to say that if they start off badly, their JVs and partnerships, they're not like good wine. They don't get better with age, right?
That's so true.
They just generally tend to go sour and so forth.
They're more like cheese.
Yes, absolutely. The mold starts pretty quick, right? So yeah. All right, that's really good. Thanks very much for that, Cam. So there you go, folks. If you're looking to impact more people, give serious consideration to JVs and partnerships. They are, as I said at the top of the broadcast, a low cost and or no cost way of growing your impact and deepening your reach out in the community. So thanks very much for that, Cam. Now, look, last two things, if you want help setting up a JV or at least some strategy around that, not necessarily with us, but just in general with someone you've got in mind out in the marketplace, reach out for a strategy session with us. You can do that by either direct messaging us on whatever platform you're watching on here, or you can go to businessreinvented.com.au and leave a message, and we'll take it from there. So if you want a strategy session, make sure you reach out, and we're more than happy to help you. So thanks very much for that, Cam. That was how to use JVs and partnerships to impact more people. And thank you, folks, for joining us. We will see you next time.